Hey guys, how are you all doing? Welcome to my channel. So, today we are gonna see, what if Naruto married with Kushina and Kaguya, part 3, subscribe if you enjoy the video, let's start the story. Valley of Clouds and Lightning. Naruto sidesteps the right hook of his clone and ducks up the spinning roundhouse of his second clone, then leaps to dodge the sweeping low kick of a third clone. It's been 3 months since he went to Turtle Island and faced the training bee that showed him to better use Buldora's chakra. Also learning has human forms and the history of and their creator Hagoromo Otsutsuki as well. Kaguya's last name sounds similar to Hagoromo, Naruto thought. Maybe she's a descendant. Buldora comments and Naruto mentally nods, but this provides an opening for his clones. One kicks Naruto from behind into the 1-2 punch of another clone. The second clone grabs Naruto by the wrist, swinging him into a heavy kick of a clone, sending the blonde flying into a few rolls. Sorry, Buldora says. Naruto pops up charging the duo as he catches one clone with a skidding left fist, dispelling the clone, and leaps backwards and catches the other with a back kick. Naruto rushes the final clone flurry of punches and kicks, culminating into a stiff kick to double it over and finally a heavy powerbomb to dispel it. Incorporating some of Lord A's moves, Samui says, standing on the steps. Naruto rolls his neck and wipes a smudge of dirt on his cheek. Something happens, he asks. Lord A has a mission for me and I want your help to reply, and Naruto arches an eyebrow. What sort of help? Naruto asks. Samui folds her arms under her burgeoning bosom with a sigh. I want to get a special weapon made and I need to head to the land of bears, she says. Naruto slowly dusts himself off as approaches. A meteor crashed there about 200 years ago and there are several mines that sell the ore from it, she says. Must be pretty large to mine even after many years, Naruto says. However, there is an issue. The village of Hashigakure sells the ore, but they are surrounded by a canyon that spews noxious fumes as they head for the steps and make their way up. Why go through the trouble of going if the risk is high? Naruto asks. The ore from the meteor makes powerful weapons, or so I've read. I need a special sword to conduct my raten, and metal from a falling star would be pretty powerful, replies. Are the others coming with us? Naruto asks, but Samui shakes her head and Naruto sighs. Let me guess, Kushina said, use this chance to get to know Naruto better, he says, and blushes a little. Consider it. You're escorting me to a foreign country under the guise of Vortex Heart, and Naruto ruffles his hair with a chuckle. Sure, Joker, Naruto muses and giggles softly. Naruto returns to the former's temporary residence to clean up and pack for their journey to, like he thought this was planned by his fellow royals, to allow some alone time with Naruto. About 2 hours later, Naruto is standing at the main gate in his King's Glove outfit. I think I'll change my outfit, Naruto thought. Any thoughts? Buldora says, as Naruto cups his chin and leans on his regalia. Something similar, but different. I'll check some clothing shops on the journey, Naruto thought, seeing approaching. She is wearing a long-sleeved black-purple blouse, black shorts with black tights, Kumo-style shin guards, and sandals. Is this your regalia that Kushina told me about? And Naruto nods, storing her gear under the seat. Naruto hops on and does the same, but sitting a little above him as he hands her some goggles to keep the wind out of her eyes. The others said their goodbyes, Naruto asks. They did, and they said separate beds, as Naruto blushes a bit but shakes his head, starting up his bike and riding off as holds on. They head south towards the border of Frost Country and head west skirting Hot Water Country. This dredges up memories of his issues with the residents of a certain town. They would stop at a hot spring resort near the border of the country and the land of rice paddies, or, as some of the people now called, the land of sound. They encountered several missing men attempting to kidnap them for their mysterious leader, but tested her on them. They left the land of sound fairly quickly and had to switch to running as they passed through a heavily forested area in the north of Taki. Towns were sparse, so the pair had to camp under the stars a few times until they reached the border. They soon reached the land of bears, but in the first town they stopped in, were informed they would need gas masks to reach Hashigakure, as they would have to pass through a ravine. Samui stares in horror as she sees the rotting corpses of animals in the ravine. As they ride along the ravine, the meteor crash must have been the cause of the gas. Even the land near the mines barely has any life, she says. Naruto notices this as well, that even though the country was heavily forest, the closer they got to the flora and fauna seemed less and less. The canyon they were passing over provided the perfect barrier, as without a mask the gas would kill you in minutes. Why would your cool beauty choose this place for chakra metal? Buldora comments, and Naruto mentally shrugs but halts his bike as 3 arrows bar their path. A figure appears with a full face mask over their face, wearing a blue and dark gray outfit with a light purple scarf, arm-length gloves, and calf-length boots. State your business, the figure says. We're here to purchase a meteor ore, Samui says. Follow me, the figure says, and Naruto follows on his bike alongside the figure. The village of Hashigakure is about 15 miles from the ravine with several mines surrounding it, the trees of the forest serving as a secondary barrier. You could probably circumvent this country in hours, Naruto thought as they passed the village walls and brought his bike to a halt. The figure removes their hooded mask to reveal reddish-brown eyes and long smooth black hair in a braided ponytail, his bangs partly curling around his head. "I'm Sumeru, and I'll take you to Lord Akaashi, but what is that?" the figure asks as Naruto and Samui remove their masks. "It's known as a regalia, it's from the south in Niflheim," Naruto says and raises his right hand with an incantation, causing the bike to break into crystalline dust. "We have visitors in Sumeru," a voice says, and the three see a man approaching. He has a pale tone, a thin and bony face, blue eyes, and a narrow nose with lilac color hair and a ponytail. He wears a teal robe with red trim, light color pants with dark knee pads, matching gloves, and boots with a high color dark color haori having light color trim. "I am Akaashi, and I am the deputy Hashikage," the man says. "I am Samui, and this is Heart. I am here to purchase about 10 pounds of meteor ore," and narrow his eyes. "I see, follow me, and we'll speak more at length." "Sumeru, return to your training," Akaashi says, looking at the young man. Sumeru bows at the waist as Naruto and follows to a 3-story mansion with a sign having the kanji for star, however both notice that there weren't many people in the village itself. "Why have you come to our small country for our precious ore?" says, once they were inside and in the meeting area. "Well," Samui starts, but Naruto interrupts her. "You said Deputy Hashikage," Naruto asks. "Yes, the Sandaime Hashikage passed away last year and there is no Hashikage at the moment," who replies and looks for her to continue. "Well sir, I possess a mutation of the Raiten affinity and I wish to have a sword capable of channeling it. Normal swords shatter after a few uses and I believe your meteor ore may have enough tolerance for my Raiten," explains. "I see not many would travel to this small country for our meteor ore," says. "I read stories about the meteor that fell here and that Hashigakure sprung up from its crater, though we did see the canyon," Samui says. Akaashi rubs his right leg with a slow nod, indeed it encircles Hashigakure and serves as a perfect barrier. "I doubt any of the major nations would dare attempt to attack our country," he says, something Naruto logs in the back of his mind. "How much would you sell the ore for?" "I would like to purchase enough to forge 2 daisho sword sets or 10 pounds, and pull out a scroll." She slowly unfurls the scroll to show a kanji with a black circle, and she places her hands outside the circle to channel her chakra, releasing 3 gold bars about 3 inches wide and 6 inches long. "This should cover things, but I do have more in case it is." Akaashi stares at the 3 gold bars, but keeps his face blank. "It will take a few days to gather the amount you want," he says. "That is fine, but we need to begin our journey back within the week," says, and slowly nods, before calling for 2 of his men to escort the pair to a room. The room is fairly comfortable, but only has 1 bed and a sofa. "You can have the bed," Naruto says, unsealing his things. "Sorry," Samui says, unsealing her things. Naruto starts weaving signs as he approaches the door and places his right hand as a sealing array forms. "So what's the real reason for you heading all the way here?" "Speak freely, this seal will keep others from knowing," Naruto says, slipping off his frock coat. Samui softly sighs and sits on the bed, "The ore, but also a woman named Natsuhi wants to save her home," she says, and clears her throat. "The Shigakure does sell the ore from the meteorite, but they keep a piece for themselves for some sort of training. Natsuhi wasn't forthcoming on that, but the training was supposed to be outlawed by the Sandaime. Now that he's dead she fears what Akaashi," Naruto says, and slowly nods. "Where is Natsuhi now?" he adds, unlacing his boots. "She's in a hideout outside the village with many others who escaped," and Naruto sighs, slipping off his right boot. "This feels like it is going to be like that town in hot water," Naruto says, slipping his left boot. "What town? Is that why you were agitated about staying in a hot spring town?" Naruto nods. "Yeah, it was before we came to Kumo. The town seemed normal on the surface, but there was a Jashin cult in the town and were sacrificing people who traveled through. Then the cult would give their wares to the townspeople who turned a blind eye for the riches. We killed the cult members and I sent letters to other towns, outing the villagers on the actions," Naruto explains. "Do you think the same thing is happening here?" Samui asks, taking a seat next to him. "This Akaashi seems off," Naruto says. "We'll need to find a way to meet with Natsuhi and coordinate our actions," Samui says. "Do you know the location of the hideout?" Naruto asks, and Samui nods. "Then I may have a way," he says. About 3 hours after sunset, Naruto slips out of their room with Naruto using 2 cage bunshin, 1, as if the real pair were under an invisibility spell to leave the village. He follows through the forest to Natsuhi's hideout. "Magic is pretty amazing. It can be, and it can be dangerous too," Naruto says. The new moon masks their presence as Naruto follows towards the northern border of the country. "Isn't she worried Akaashi could find their base?" Naruto says. "They must be hidden well," Samui says. They soon start to see the trees lessen and look more charred as rock formations jut out of the ground. "This way," says, pointing towards a formation similar to a star. Suddenly both halt in their tracks as several arrows strike the ground. "Who are you?" a voice echoes. Naruto sees a figure standing on the star rock with a crossbow and wearing a full mask over their face, wearing a blue flag and light-colored shorts. "We were sent by Lord A. We're here to see Natsuhi," Samui declares. The figure leaps down and slowly removes their mask, revealing jade green eyes and long violet hair. "Prove it," the woman says. Samui reaches into her pouch and pulls a scroll with A's seal of approval before slowly handing it to the woman before them as Naruto shifts his eyes from left to right. "I am Natsuhi. Follow me," the woman says after reading the scroll. Naruto and follows up to the large stone as she weaves signs, causing the stone to move to reveal an opening, and the three leap inside to reveal an underground hideaway. He sees several people look over others as leads to another area. "Are you all Lord A could send?" Natsuhi says. Without raising suspicions, yes, as both of us aren't the official ninja of Kumagakure, causing to frown, but she knew the major nations wouldn't risk things for such a small nation. "Then I have to work on this." "Have you met with Akaashi?" Natsuhi says, disgust for the man evident. "We did, and he thinks we're here for meteor ore." "Which is partially true," Samui says. "Samui tells me you want to stop some sort of training," Naruto says and narrows her eyes and clenches her left fist. During the reign of the Nidaime Hashikage miners found the core of the star starts and thinks of her husband Hatorubi. The core gives off a form of chakra radiation that enhances one's chakra levels. It is the core of the mysterious peacock method, but the same techniques cause extensive damage to the body, she adds. "Why use such a technique?" Naruto says. The Nidaime Hashikage wished to be seen on the same level of the 5 Kage, but the training was detrimental to our shinobi. The Sandaime finally banned the star training after many died, including my husband, explains, and her eyes flicker. "However, now that the Sandaime is dead, Akaashi wishes to revive it," she adds. "So you contacted Lord A for aid," say, and nod. "I did have evidence that Akaashi killed the Sandaime, but enslaved the people in the mine. He has them believing there may be other pieces of the star," says, and looks down. "I worry for my son Sumeru," she adds, shocking both. "I have a question. Why did you leave your son in the village if the star training was so bad?" Naruto says, but Natsuhi remains silent for a few moments. "We made a foolish mistake when Sumeru was very young, Hatorubi, and I attempted to steal the star after seeing the deadly side effects, but we were caught by Sandaime and his Anbu. We pleaded with him about the effects of the core, and he believed us. However, we needed to disappear in case the militant members of the village attempted to restart the training, so we faked our deaths, and he ordered us to watch the village from afar, but Hatorubi died from the side effect a few years ago," Natsuhi explains. "What about you?" Naruto asks. "I didn't suffer any side effects other than my hair turning this color, but no other effects," Natsuhi says. "How do you want to handle things? Do you know the strength of Akaashi's forces, Asos? Our ninja forces have dwindled due to the star training, but from our people, we know he has at least a dozen Chunin and Jonin at the ready, but only 2 have the star training, Sumeru, and the other genin are still in training," Natsuhi replies. Naruto runs his fingers through his blonde hair and thought at how to handle things. "How do you wish to deal with Akaashi?" he asks. "The day after tomorrow I will attempt to steal the star and will use Fuinjutsu to destroy it," Natsuhi replies. "What about the mine?" Samui asks. "I leave the 2 of you. He keeps his force light around it, so it should be enough," Natsuhi says, and Naruto silently sighs, getting to his feet. "We should head back and I'll scout the mine tomorrow. We may be able to coordinate with your attempt on the star," Naruto says. "I pray to the gods that we succeed," Natsuhi says, and both bow a bit to her before excusing themselves. Naruto and leave the hidden base to make their way back to, as Naruto uses his invisibility spell to hide them again. "Then the 2 of us handle this," Samui says. "We can, otherwise Lord A would have sent someone else," Naruto says. They soon reach the village gate and make their way back to the Hashikage's mansion, slipping into the room, but notice some of their items were disturbed. "Looks like Akaashi doesn't trust us," Naruto says, as both clones dispel to reveal 2 Akaashi's men named Yutaka and Shiso were going through their things. "Get some rest, I'll start scouting the mine and take a tour of the village," Naruto says, and slowly nods as they check their things to see if anything is missing, but nothing was. Naruto stays up for another hour and creates some clones to start scouting the village and the mine. "Luckily you didn't have anything to show where exactly you're from," Buldora says, as Naruto lays down on the sofa. "We're not official ninja, and the samurai kept a seal on her person," Naruto thought, before drifting off to sleep. The next day comes, and the pair were brought breakfast about 8 of berries, toast, jam, and juice. "I'll speak with Akaashi about the ore," Samui says. "I'll try to follow the genin to see the star if possible," Naruto says, as the pair finish their breakfast and get dressed for the day. The pair separate and Naruto attempts to find the genin, finding heading outside the village and the blonde follows but doesn't attempt to stop him. The forest gives way to a large crater with nothing but charred trees and next to no life. At the center of the crater were several buildings as it was heading towards but stopped to look back at Naruto. "Why are you following me?" Sumeru says. "I was curious about the crater." "What's that building down there?" Naruto says and Sumeru narrows his eyes. "It is our training area, visitors are not allowed, but you can go to our resting area," Sumeru says, pointing to the building in an L shape as he continues on to the training room. "Very narrow-minded thought process," Veldora comments. Naruto sighs and looks up to the cloudless sky, but groans as a clone dispels. "The mines aren't deplorable, but they need to be wary of poison gas," he thought, continuing down the incline. He reaches the building and knocks upon the door, but slides it open as no one comes to open it. "Hello," Naruto says, but hears soft coughing. He enters the room and sees a few futons as at the opposite end is a lump. "Hello," Naruto says again. "Who are you?" Another says, and Naruto looks back to see a young girl before she sends a light pink rope towards him, but he uses his armature to her shock. "Easy, I heard him coughing and wanted to see if he's okay," Naruto says, sword surrounding him. She dispels the pink rope and slowly enters with her indigo eyes filled with suspicion and wearing light pink blouse with a turquoise red patterned dress over it and light pink chaps along with brown sandals. "Are you a visitor?" the girl says and Naruto nods. "My name is Heart and I'm here with a friend to buy some meteor ore. The deputy Hashikage allowed me to explore. I apologize for entering without permission," Naruto says. "My name is Hakuto and that is Mizura," the girl says as she goes to help her friend. He has medium-length dull purple hair, dull purple thick bushy eyebrows, and has large brown pupil-less eyes. He wears a tan kimono jacket with navy blue trimmings, but Naruto sees him quite frail and sickly. "Your friend is sick," Naruto says. Hakuto helps sit up and gets him some water. "It's for the sake of our training," he says. "Training that makes you sick isn't training," Naruto says. "You don't understand, star training is making us strong. So strong the great nations will fear us," Sumeru says, standing in the doorway. "The star training is so powerful it will make the 5 great nations tremble," Naruto says, listening to coughs as glares at the blonde. "It will," Sumeru says. Naruto shakes his head with a sigh and kneels too. "I know a little about healing." "May I try?" Naruto says. "Can you help?" Hakuto says. Naruto pulls the sheet away to see more of Mizura's frail body as he opens his top to see his ribs, but purple flame-like marks on his body. "Is this because of the star training?" Naruto says, but remains quiet. He places his left hand on Mizura. "I can't do much, but I can relieve some of his pain. Heal," Naruto says as his hand glows a light blue. Hakuto gasps as Mizura's pained face slowly relaxes a little. "Thank you," he says. "Sumeru, if your star training is the result of Mizura's suffering, then it won't help in the long run," Naruto says, rising to his feet. "What do you know, outsider?" Sumeru snaps and Naruto shrugs. "You're right, I don't, but I've seen people kill themselves for a cause that may not be right," Naruto says, walking past him. "He may try to kill his own mother," Veldora says as Naruto walks up and out of the crater. "He believes in Hashigakure supremacy. Only a few have the star training and I don't believe that can help against Jinchuriki." Naruto. He makes his way back to the village as Bren lands on his shoulder. "The children stay in the room for hours with this star," she says. "My clones have checked the mines and they seem to be searching for more pieces of the core to have more to use," Naruto says, keeping his eyes out for people. "When will things happen?" Bren asks. "The day after tomorrow, but she messes up the timetable," Naruto says as Bren dispels and he picks up his speed back to the village. "Most of the townspeople must work in the mines," Veldora says as Naruto passes through the gate. "It's not a large village because it has sprung from the crash site. Farming is out and I guess the mines keep the village afloat," Naruto thought, reaching the Hashikage's mansion. He makes it to his shared room and finds already there. "Any issues?" Naruto asks after putting the seal back up. He's stalling. "He may believe Natsuhi has sent us as a distraction. He said he'll have the ore the day after tomorrow," Samui says. Naruto cups his chin in thought with a sigh. "He may have put 'em all in her group, so I have an idea to move things along," he says and arches an eyebrow. "I'm going to steal the star tonight and draw Akaashi to me, or rather a clone," Naruto says. "What about Natsuhi?" Samui asks. "I'll send Brent to tell her we'll bring them all together and expose Akaashi," Naruto explains and slowly nods as he explains more of his plan. The rest of the day is rather uneventful, but it is after sunset when the fireworks begin as Naruto and are awakened by heavy knocking. "Is Samui, Mr. Hart, we need your help. Someone is attempting to steal the ore set aside for you," Shiso says. He has long chin-length black hair and dark eyes, wearing a purple 8 and a blue-purple flak jacket with a black long-sleeve shirt underneath it and black shorts. "Who would do such a thing?" Samui says. We don't know, but can one of you help us, Yutaka says. He has thick black eyebrows and dark eyes with a bald man having a purple 8. He wears a purple-blue flak jacket, a black t-shirt under his flak jacket, and short black arm sleeves on his lower arms with black pants having knee guards. I will go with them. You speak to Lord Akaashi, Naruto says, getting dressed and doing the same. The pair split up as Naruto follows and Shiso towards the mine. Why would someone steal the ore we purchased? Naruto asks, running behind them. We do not know, but you can help us look for clues, Yutaka says, glancing at Shiso. The three reach the mine and Naruto looks but notices that the pair have put some distance between themselves and the blonde. Is something wrong? Naruto asks. The pair slowly turn to Naruto as several other ninjas surround him. We know you're working for that traitor, sneers. Traitor, Naruto says, looking left and right. Don't play dumb, Natsuhi sends you as a distraction as she attempts to steal the star, Shiso says. The tension starts to ramp up as all pull out kunai as Naruto stays motionless but sighs. Well, I can let Kaguya know that it works, Naruto says and quickly weaves signs to the bird. Kill him, Yutaka shouts. Music. Naruto Shippuden Osu Hai Haku plus Kakuten, Meijin. Hunter's Moon, Naruto utters and all of them halt in their tracks as the area turns dark except for the red full moon in the sky. What is this? One of them says as Shiso looks around. Don't falter. It's simply Jinjutsu, shouts. Ominous giggling echoes around them as they attempt to release themselves. Well, you're half right, Naruto says, seemingly from everywhere. Suddenly a roaring echoes through them to induce panic in the weaker members of the group. Why won't it be released? Another shouts before something large crashes into him and sends him to the ground. Yutaka and the others back away with their kunai at the ready as the thing lifts off their downed comrade, revealing a set of haunting blue eyes and 2 rows of sharp teeth dripping with blood. What is that? Another shouts but starts gurgling as his throat opens up with a spray of blood. Yutaka and others toss kunai at the tiger but one by one their throats are torn open. Kujaku Mim. Kameno and Shiso shout, using their star chakra to create a beast that resembles a dog with golden eyes. Is that supposed to frighten me? Naruto echoes. We're not done. Synthesis shouts and combines his beast with Chico's. Oh my, quite impressive, but let me retort with this, Naruto says. Yutaka and Shiso gasp in horror as a dragon with glowing red eyes emerges from the shadows. I give you my ranton. Demon dragon, Naruto says as the dragon ensnares them to explode. The red moon fades and the area lightens as Naruto holds the sign for the horse as his opponents are twitching on the ground from the storm cloud surrounding them. Their Ryanka still needs work, Voldora says. Naruto creates about a dozen clones to secure the bodies. Using it in conjunction with Hunter's Moon is useful, he says. Indeed, now why don't we bring down the final curtain, Voldora says and Naruto nods, vanishing with Shunshin. At the same time is playing her part as Akahashi's hostage with Naruto's clone having the star. Hand over the star, the girl with eyes shouts. How can you allow such a barbaric practice to continue? Natsuhi shouts, preparing to use her. Because Hashigakure deserves to stand above the 5 great nation but are full of a sandame, outlawed the practice of shouts, seeing, and a few other genin. Mother Sumeru says, his eyes wide. Sumeru, I'm sorry, however I must stop Akahashi from gaining the star, shouts. Sumeru, bring me the star, shouts, sensing his chakra with and his eyes glow purple. Under his control uses his star chakra as a rope to grab the star and toss it to as he tosses aside. Sumeru shouts. Now do you see, Natsuhi? Your son is mine to control, Akahashi shouts before tearing open his shirt and digging the star into his chest. Natsuhi rushes to her son and envelopes him in her star chakra to free him of Akahashi's control. Is Naruto on his way? Samui says, reaching the clone, and it nods. Akahashi screams as he forces the star more into his chest as veins become pronounced. Now I will become the Yondaime Hashikage, he howls, his eyes glowing purple. His body seizes as the star forces chakra out his eyes and mouth, his muscles increase in mass and he gains a mane of light pink hair. Kujaku Mim. Rick howls, creating a large Eastern-style dragon with dark yellow eyes and a ring of red around them. Shiratora shouts, holding a ram sign. A white tiger roars and slams into the star dragon, but it starts to overcome the tiger. Ranton. Rankeric, Naruto shouts, appearing beside and firing his red-eyed dragon. Akahashi hisses in rage as his dragon is being overcome, but he forces more star chakra out, allowing it to grow wings and fire blasts of chakra. Everyone scatters as Naruto brings out Vortex Abandon to fire several shots, but the dragon shakes them off. Naruto sends Vortex Abandon away as he lands with skid. Slowly his eyes turn reptilian-like and his muscles increase a little with steel scales forming on his cheeks. Time to bring out my power, Voldora crows. Akaashi sees this change in Naruto, but fires another blast of star chakra as Naruto weaves signs to Ram and inhales, Ranton. Roar of the storm dragon, Naruto thought, firing a laser blast of lightning from his mouth. The blast tears through the dragon and leaves open as Naruto closes the gap with a stinger through the core, but also his heart. Impossible hisses, spitting up blood. Naruto stares with a blank look on his face, possibly the blonde says, his teeth much sharper, and wrenches his sword free as it crashes to the ground. Song ends. Naruto relaxes his body as approaches, "You've been holding out on me," she says. He sends a vortex gaze away with a sigh, "So have you," Naruto says, as the pair turn their attention to. She hugs Sumeru as the young man is softly crying, "Mother," Sumeru whispers, and Natoshi rubs his back as Samui approaches. "The star core has been destroyed," Samui says. "As it should have been, thank you, and, as payment you will have your ore," Natsuhi says. "The fight is not over. We need to capture those loyal to Akaashi," Samui says. Natsuhi looks to her son and fellow genin, "You're right," she says, leading the charge. By morning Akaashi's followers would be captured and Shiso confessing their crimes. Naruto and would leave in the care of, who would soon become the Yondaime. They would congratulate them on a job well done once they were back in Kumagakure, even offering some of the ore to make a weapon, but Naruto declined. Kumo's best blacksmiths would make 2 sets of swords, and Kushina added some to further strengthen the sword. Another 3 months would pass, and Naruto would decide it is time to leave to keep traveling to further their strength, but also see other countries. Naruto would pass on the information about Akatsuki to a B, but also A, allowing them to be prepared, and A agree to an alliance with Land of Lightning Kumagakure. "I want you to take Samui with you," Yujito says, sitting across from Naruto with Samui next to her. "Yujito, I want to stay and become a Kumo ninja," Samui says, rubbing a crystal necklace in her hand. "Samui, there are elements in Kumo that will want to see if your Raiden would be passed on to your children. They will attempt to turn you into a broodmare and pump out children. I don't want that," Yujito says. "Samui has talked about becoming a strong Kumo Kunoichi. I couldn't deprive her of that," Naruto says, and Yujito glares at him. "Don't you care about her well-being?" Yujito says. "I do, but don't you trust Samui?" Naruto says. "Naruto is right because I would love to travel with the other Vortex Royals, but I don't want to leave my friends. We want to become a team together with you," as our sensei says, and could see the determination in Samui's ice blue eyes. Yujito leans back in her chair with a sigh, "So will you write him letters?" "Well, you can't with them on the move," she says, but holds up the necklace. "It's a magic crystal. We can speak through it. It'll create a mini projection, and it works with chakra too. So we can speak both ways," Naruto explains. "I see. Where are you heading next?" Yujito asks. "We're thinking of heading further north," Kushina says, holding a big duffel bag. "Be careful around Yuki, though. Lord A's spies report there is a despot there," Yujito says. "We'll try not to anger the despot, but knowing our luck we might get dragged into something," Naruto says. Yujito rises from her seat and extends her hand to Naruto. "It was a pleasure to meet Naruto Nox Flurit," she says, and Naruto shakes her hand. "Likewise Yujito Nai," Naruto says. "Madatabi suggested we meet in the Biju mindscape every few months. Vildora will feel the pull," Yujito says, and Naruto slowly nods, before excusing herself. "Kinda wish I had a Biju," Kushina comment, as Rebecca and Kaguya come with their bags, as well. Samui rises from her seat and hugs each of the girls. "I'll miss all of you," Samui says. "Same here, the Royals won't be the same without our Joker," Rebecca says. "You can still come with us," Kaguya says. "I want to become a Kumo Kunoichi, but if it doesn't work out," opening her arms to Naruto. The fellow blondes hug and kiss Naruto's cheek. "Next time we meet I'll probably be a Kumo ninja," she says. "And I'll probably be a Konoha one," Naruto says, getting another hug from. "We'll contact you in a few days," Kushina says, and Samui slowly nods, wiping a tear. Naruto and company excuse themselves to make their way towards Kumo's main gates. "So where to now, Asos?" "We'll go west and then north," Naruto says. They soon reach the main gates and bring out their respective regalia. "Westward we go," Naruto says, slipping on his goggles and starting his bike with a surge of pink energy from the front wheel. The Vortex Royals would leave behind and head through the mountains towards the Land of Lightning's western border. Thanks to A, the group were registered bounty hunters and their names would spread to other countries. Thankfully they didn't use their real names, but their codes names. Naruto decided to further hide their anonymity by having special masks to further keep their identity a secret. They would stop in the Land of Thunder to purchase their custom masks, with each having blacked out eyes and their symbol shaped like a vortex. Once their masks were done they would head to the Land of Glaciers and would get snowed in at an inn for about 2 weeks due to a freak snowstorm. Kushina would freak out, as in this inn was her favorite actress Yuki Fujika's. The young woman is a bit on the cold side, but warmed up to Kaguya because of her ears and the actress's love of rabbits. The royals would get to know Yuki, and thanks to Kushina's motormouth, the actress would learn they were bounty hunters and skilled ninja. This would be something that would catch the eye of Yuki's assistant Sandayu-sama. After the snow was cleared, Yuki invited the group on a whale and glacier watching tour, which they agreed, and it was amazing to see, as they saw several whales and icebergs. It would be at the end of this tour where would ask the royals for help in terms of protection as she filmed her movie. Naruto was weary and pressed, in which he revealed that is actually Koyuki Kazuhana, true ruler of the land of snow. Yuki would reveal that her uncle Dodo Kazuhana murdered her father in a coup, and if not for the timely intervention of Anbu, she would have died, but they refused to aid her in retaking her home. So with Sandayu's help became an actress and trained to become strong enough to defend herself. This tugged at the heartstrings of the other royals, and Naruto found himself outvoted, so they agreed to aid in saving her home from her uncle. Sandayu revealed Dodo has special chakra armor that negates both ninjutsu, and Naruto informed the pair that they would be fine and revealed that is after a special necklace given to her by her father Susetsu. The two groups devised to draw close to Snow Country by using the filming of her movie. Land of Snow. Welcome back to the Land of Snow, Princess Koyuki 1 Roganator says. Naruto notices he resembles with a similar haircut and eye shape, except he has small diagonal purple marks below both of his teal eyes. He wears a Hapuri style 8 that frames his face, and his long purple hair is in long a ponytail running down his back, along with a long thin strand of purple hair hanging over the right side of his face. He wears a blue and white outfit with chakra armor having mesh underneath. His compatriots Mizur Fuyakuma and Fubuki Kakyoku were looking down at the group from their perches on this large ice sheet. The plan Naruto and company came up with worked, as it lured some of Dodo's forces to them. Diamond Club took Koyuki and the others to the ship's bait ace with me, Naruto thought. Be careful, heart, Koyuki shouts. She has long black hair with bangs that fall on each side of her face and violet blue eyes. She wears a green blouse over a pink jacket with brown gloves and black pants. You think you can defeat us, little one, says. He is a rather large man with a short crop of purple hair and dark eyes with small circular-shaped purple eyebrows. He wears the standard uniform of a blue and white outfit with chakra armor like the others. We'll show you the power of Snow's ninja, Fubuki says. She has green eyes and pink spiky hair that sticks out of 2 holes at the top of her gray helmet, reminiscent of pigtails, and small circular dark pink eyebrows, and wears the chakra armor with dark teal pants. Vizir gets the Princess, Roga says, and all three rush forward. Naruto does the same and leaps on pieces of ice to meet while using a snowboard to move towards. Hum at me, little man, Roga says. Naruto leaps as fists meet forearms, knees meet shins as both parry and counter their strikes as they move up the glacier mountain. Mizur surfs around Konan as she fires several shuriken, but they bounce off his chakra armor. Heimton. Tsubame, Fubuki shouts, firing a flurry of ice swallows. Kushina dodges, but the swallows curve around to attack her, Suiton. Tepndama, she thought, firing several water bullets, but the swallows freeze the bullets and effectively stop them. Heimer no Jutsu shouts, slamming her hand on the ice. Several thick pieces of ice erupt as Kushina dodges, but she tosses a few explosive kunai to destroy them. That's useless, Fubuki sneers as the ice continues to follow Kushina. Mizur fires his steam-powered gauntlet at Konan, but she nimbly dodges it and him as he closes the gap. The director and his crew were filming frantically to keep up with all three fights. Tsurika no Jutsu, Naruto shouts, using the ocean and firing the roaring dragon, but Roga's chakra armor negates it. It's useless. Our chakra armor negates all chakra and creates a wall of chakra to negate weapons as well, weaving signs from tiger to dog. Heimton. Harakenko shouts, creating a tiger. Naruto counters with another dragon to keep up their ruse and it freezes up due to the tearing tiger. You say it negates all chakra, but I wonder how you stand up to magic, Naruto says, pointing his hands forward. Shard buckshots, Naruto shouts as crystal shards emerge from his hands. Roga only smirks as he believes his armor will do its job, but it vanishes as the shards cut into him as he dodges. What? He says. I guess your armor is not as invincible as you thought, Naruto says. Kushina gasps as her leg is caught by the ice and quickly freezes as smirks, but the Retid swaps with a heater. The Kunoichi gasps as Kushina appears behind her with her chain sword coming at full force, hitting her in the side and snapping her arm so it could touch her upper arm. I can't feel my legs, Fubuki thought, crashing to the ground with a few hops and coming to a halt. Vizir shouts, but halts as paper is floating around him, what he thought as the paper were bombs. Konan focuses as most of her body has turned to paper, Katsushi says, as the bombs explode for nearly 50 seconds. The former Amorphin has always been great at origami, and after so long she is now able to turn her body into paper, even creating paper wings to fly. Maybe I should change my name to Angel rather than Ace, Conan says, slowly reforming as Mizar falls on his back and unmoving with most of his body severely burned. You little brat, Roga snaps and weaves signs to the dog, Haimton. Rumgonatter no, he roars, creating an avalanche of wolves. Naruto slaps his hands together and slowly pulls them apart as lightning surges between them, twin maximize magic. Chain dragon lightning, he shouts. Roga gasps as a dragon of lightning tears through his wolves and electrifies him until his heart explodes, along with his armor. Naruto turns his attention to Kushina, who were done with their opponents before creating some clones to give the ninja burial at sea. How long before Dodo finds out they failed, Kushina says. Maybe long enough to reach Yuki's shores, Naruto says. The three head back to the ship and meet up with the others. Are they dead? Koyuki asks. It seems their armor can't stand magic or continuous explosions, Naruto says. They were Dodo's strongest soldiers, Sandayu says. His over-reliance on them will be his downfall, Naruto says. Once everything was secured, the ship set sail for Yuki's mainland and their confrontation with. Naruto sits in his room and pulls a certain necklace from his shirt before channeling magic into the crystal in his palm. Hey, Naruto says, to a tiny. Hey, I was just about to take a shower, Samui says, causing Naruto to blush a little. Sorry to bother you. Just wanted to talk. We're heading to Yuki and encountered the locals, Naruto says. How did that happen? Samui asks. Naruto explains that they met in the glacier and they were hired to be her bodyguards, learning is actually the rightful daimyo of, and she hired them to help overthrow her uncle. You have the wildest luck, so not cool, says, giggling a little. How are the others? Samui adds. They're doing well. Conan is continuing to find new ways to use her Kamaten, and the others are their normal selves, but Kushina is still a motormouth, Naruto explains, and giggles. I won't keep you long, I wanted to hear your voice, he adds. Same here, talk to you later, Samui says. Same, Naruto says, cutting the connection and slipping the necklace back into his shirt. The journey to Snow Country takes about a day and another to unpack things, setting up vehicles to take them to their wanted location. The royals see no action from, but Naruto and others notice the advancement of technology. It wasn't to the level of Niflheimer insomnia, but it was more advanced than. Seems my uncle hasn't been making those things completely unlivable, Koyuki says. She is riding with Naruto in a trailer, as the others were in another. It may be similar to Nami. A man called Gato attempted to take over the city. The common person had no idea such things were happening, Naruto says, removing his mask. Koyuki looks out the window with a sigh. I hope I can restore what my father created, she says. The journey continues, and they pass through a large tunnel system to reach an area for the final scenes of the film, but also where a number of Sandayu's followers are waiting. I can't see the exit, Kushina says, sitting with the other, as Naruto got the lucky part. Do you hear or see anything? Conan asks, as Kaguya has her eyes closed and looks through the eyes of her swallows. Nothing yet, Kaguya says. About 30 minutes later they reach the exit and the area has a steep incline up towards the forest. The director and his crew start setting up for the scenes needed to be filmed, but Sandayu notices something, as the train tracks along their path have now been infused with chakra. Pity, Sandayu, think. Princess A train is coming. I believe it could be Dodo, Sandayu shouts and looks at the director. You all need to run away. I'll alert our forces, he adds, running up the hill to the crew's shock. They found out pretty quick, Kushina says, bringing out her sword. Well, we weren't inconspicuous, Rebecca says. It's nearly here, Kaguya says, bringing out her staff. Naruto slips his mask on with a roll of his neck. Rebecca Kaguya Conan gets to the top of the incline and provides overwatch Kushina, and I will be boots on the ground, he says, and the three nod, rushing up the hill. The loud train horn echoes, and soon a long train formation bursts from the tunnel, knocking several of the trucks out of the way and causing everyone to scatter. It slowly screeches to a halt about a mile from them. Long time no see, Koyuki, a voice says, on a loudspeaker, and knows this voice well. Dodo stands on the railing in a black and blue chakra armor with a light blue cape as well. Give me the crystal, and I'll spare your life. Never shouts. Then I'll take it from your corpse, Dodo declares, but numerous logs smash into his train, courtesy of Sandayu and his forces. Annoy pest, kill them, shouts. Several of the boxcars open to reveal several kunai launchers with ninja manning them. Open fire, one shouts. Koyuki gasps in horror as time seems to slow as the kunai launch and a smirk forms on the dog's face, but a large green barrier erupts to block the projectiles. What? Dodo shouts. Rebecca opens fire with her rifle and disables the launchers before they could fire another volley for Lord Susetsu, and Lady Koyuki. Sandayu shouts as his men rush down the hill and ninja engage them. The director and his crew were watching but also filming as Naruto and Kushina rush towards the train. Dodo tosses his cape aside and leaps off the train as he weaves signs to the dog and punches his right arm forward. Haimton. Kakuya, he shouts. A black dragon of ice erupts from the snow with red eyes, forcing Naruto and Kushina to dodge, but unfurl wings from his armor and Sunshine to grab. Damn it, no jutsu, Naruto shouts, slamming his hand in the snow. Bren appears big enough for him to ride. Follow us when you can, Naruto says, giving chase. We will, Kushina shouts, joining the fight. We need to follow them. The finale is about to begin, the director says, and his crew nod, getting some snowmobiles. Koyuki struggles in Dodo's grip as they fly over the forest. Stop struggling or I will drop you to your death, he hisses. Where are you taking me? Koyuki hisses. The Rainbow Valley and the hexagonal crystal. I will gain the treasure of snow, says, and wants to struggle once again, but doesn't. The forest soon gives way to glacial formation, with several ice slabs surrounding a small altar. Dodo lands and drops to quickly rip the necklace from her neck, but tries to fight back with a strike to his face, but starts dodging. Dodo backhands Koyuki to the ground and kicks her in the stomach for good measure as he rushes to the altar, placing the crystal into the slot. It glows pink and the crystal slabs glow light green or reflect the sun as the area starts to heat up. Where's the treasure? Shouts, looking around. Koyuki struggles to her feet and holds her stomach, but her eyes widen as she sees an actual phoenix, Naruto. She shouts. The ice is melting, Bren says. Naruto brings out Vortex Abandon as he sees the area is warming up. A generator. Could this be the treasure her father left behind, he says. Dodo weaves signs once to dog and shoots both his fist forward. Haimton. Smirk Muksetsu here roars. Naruto leaps from Bren as two black ice dragons and several flurries of arrows to block one and dispels Abandon to weave signs to link his hands together. Ranton. Laser Circus, Naruto shouts, firing light blue lasers at the other as he lands. He rushes towards Dodo and brings out the vortex fangs in reverse grip. Annoying Insect shouts, rushing Naruto with a leap and bringing his fist down. Naruto dodges as the ground shatters from his punch but lands and closes the gap to slash, forcing the tyrant to dodge as his cheek opens up. What? Says, skipping back and palming his bleeding cheek. Your armors are not invincible, Naruto says and grits his teeth in a rage, charging the blonde in a rage and his moves sloppy. Naruto slashes several times and uses the fangs on the power source of his armor. Lightning, Naruto says, firing a blast of lightning from his left hand. Dodo screams as his power source cracks more and more, but also from the lightning, but he is too late to move as Naruto fires two wind arrows through his legs. Now Koyuki, Naruto shouts. Koyuki weaves signs to the dog and slams her hands into the ice. Haimton. Hakura Muksetsu, she shouts. A white dragon with ice blue eyes erupts from the ground and twists into the air before it crashes into, sending him to the frozen depths below and ending his tyranny. Koyuki falls to her knees to catch her breath as the area continues to warm and she sees an image of her father, but also her younger self, causing her to cry and remember the good times. Cut. That was a spectacular finale. The director shouts. It would be another 2 months to flush out Dodo's supporters and properly install as the rightful daimyo of snow or rather spring country, as her father's treasure was a heat generator to bring spring to the snowy country. This further endeared Koyuki back to her people and the Vortex Royals as her heroes. So you'll be leaving Naruto, Koyuki says, sitting in her study with the others. We can't be your crutch, Koyuki, Kushina says. She's right, we simply helped you bring about your father's dream, plus in the movie you defeated the villain, Naruto says. I can't wait to see us in the movie, Kaguya says, smiling. So where will you be heading? Koyuki says. Naruto cups his chin in thought but sighs. We'll head wherever the winds take us, he says. Koyuki rises from her seat and hugs each of them, thanking each for their help, and if they needed help in the future all they needed to do is contact her. The royals would head further north into the land of Frostbite where they would be walking into a dangerous situation. The man-eating tiger, Naruto says. The village head slowly nodded as his eyes held a bit of fear. Why yes, there is a tiger that has lived in our lands for some time, he starts and then takes a sip of his hot tea. There has always been an unspoken rule in the forest where the tiger resides and one is never take its kill, the village head continues. By old man Visha, Kushina says and Naruto places a hand on her shoulder. It would be the same with you and ramen or Kaguya will be her sweets, he says, causing Kushina to make an O face and bringing in a little levity. Yes, but someone broke that rule. He was a newcomer to the area and believed himself superior to the tiger. He built a cabin near the tiger's range and hunted many of the wildlife, boars, bears, even wolves, Visha explains. So this hunter breaks the unspoken rule and this pisses off the tiger, Rebecca says and nods. He didn't get to enjoy the stolen boar. The tiger attempted to kill him but he managed to wound the tiger and escape. However, his fate was sealed and touched his chest. We have a saying. If you attempt to kill a tiger and you let it live, death is a guarantee. The powerful Naruto says and nods as the blonde drinks his own tea. The hunter was terrorized for several days. The tiger would not give him any rest, destroying everything it could around the cabin. When the hunter left to seek aid, it destroyed his home and finally killed him upon his return. We never found his body, but only small stains of blood and his cabin trashed, Visha explains, and his face goes grim. The tiger wasn't done, Naruto says, and nods. Why yes, after killing the hunter the tiger started to stalk the village near the hunter's cabin, drawing closer and closer each time. It was a week after the hunter's death that another kill site was found. It was a brash young man unafraid of tigers, Visha says. We sure came into a bad situation, Conan says. I knew I wasn't imagining things, Kaguya says, rubbing her right arm and her ears down. Naruto knows exactly what Kaguya meant, as when they were nearing the village, this feeling washed over her and she could hear this low roar far from them. How many have died? Naruto asks. For at present the last two intended to kill the tiger, all we found were scraps, Visha replies. We may need to deal with this tiger not just for the village, but for our own safety, Kushina says. Naruto crosses his arms in thought for a few moments. Kushina is right, this tiger may follow us and kill anyone in its way, he says, and looks to. Do you know the location of the first hunter's cabin, he asks. I won't go there, but I can draw you a map. Why do you wish to go there? Visha asks, concerned. I'm going to lure the tiger to me. The others will watch the village. Kaguya can pick it up if it gets close, and Rebecca can snipe it down. Hopefully it won't come to that and it will follow me, Naruto says. Visha gasps and rises to his feet to grasp Naruto's hands with his wrinkled own. Thank you young travelers, and all of them nod. They would spend the night at home, but Kaguya could pick up the roars of the tiger as it moved through the village outskirts. The next day Naruto would head out to find the original hunter's cabin, so we're going to have a tiger pelt, Dora says. Maybe, Naruto thought, looking over the map, but summoned Kaiser as well and explained the situation. That hunter was dumb or desperate if he took the boar carcass, Kaiser says, as they trudged through the snow. The only real sounds were their breathing, the crunch of snow under his boots, and the scare sounds of wildlife. Take this to heart, Naruto. A tiger will see you 100 times before you see it once, Kaiser says. Naruto looks around at the thick forest with a sigh. Thanks for the advice, he says, continuing to move through the forest for about 25 minutes. Soon the remains of the cabin comes into view with the door off the hinges, things scattered around the outside, and a mattress outside. Can you get a scent of the tiger? Naruto asks. Kaiser sniffs the ground as they move closer to the cabin and Naruto enters to check things out. He looks around and things are destroyed. Seems the tiger has been inside, Naruto says, seeing deep claw marks dug into the wooden floor. Naruto continues to look and finds a sawed-off double-barrel shotgun with some shells on the ground. I have the scent, Kaiser says. Naruto grabs the gun, but also a few shells, and meets Kaiser. How far, he says. Don't know, but I got his scent, Kaiser says, growing a little bigger as Naruto climbs on his back. Restore, Naruto whispers, on the shells and guns. He opens the barrel and slips into the breach as they hear a roaring through the clearing. Naruto? Kaiser shouts. Naruto barely has time to get up a shield with his armature as the tiger crashes into him and it takes the brunt, but the blonde screams as one of its paws digs into his chest. The tiger roars in Naruto's face, but Kaiser bullrushes the tiger off of Naruto as the blonde bleeds on the snow. Heal, Naruto hisses, closing his wounds and struggles to turn on his side. He sees the tiger fighting Kaiser and it is large, about 10 feet long, but has several wounds on his body. Naruto grabs the rifle and points it at the tiger. Kaiser move, he shouts, and Kaiser moves as Naruto fires with both barrels, hitting the tiger in the side. It roars in pain and prepares to charge Naruto, but Kaiser enlarges enough to bite into the tiger's side. Naruto groans and opens the barrel to dump out the shells as the tiger roars weakly in pain. I know you got your revenge on the one who stole your kill and the ones who tried to kill you, Naruto says, and groans to touch the wounds to his chest. I will wear this as a badge of honor between man and beast. I will even give you a name to live in the memories of others, he adds. He then points the rifle at the tiger's head. Your name will be Tsar, Naruto utters before his shots echo through the clearing. Naruto and Kaiser would bring the Tsar back to the village to the villagers' shock, but the other royals were concerned about his injuries. However, Naruto stops them from healing his wound because to him it is a badge of honor from his fight with the Tsar. Visha and the villagers would use every part of the Tsar to honor the famed tiger. Naruto and the royals would learn Tsar has been wounded numerous times, had a broken jaw that didn't heal properly, and a damaged leg. Tsar's meat would be spread to the villagers and his pelt would be displayed with respect in Visha's home. Naruto was given a necklace with Tsar's claws and another with his surviving canines. The royals would remain in the village for another month to allow Naruto time to fully recover, leaving with a claw-like mark on his chest. They would leave the village and head further north to the land of wolves, where they would see a supermassive pack of wolves. The villagers would tell them that the pack is about 400 strong and were paying hunters for every one they killed. This caught the eye of Rebecca and she challenged Naruto to see who could bag the most wolves. Naruto took the challenge and went with one group of hunters and she went with another group of hunters as Kushina, Conan, and Kaguya stayed out of it. Rebecca would win the bet by bagging nearly 100 wolves to Naruto's 90. The group would leave the land of wolves with fatter wallets, traveling west through the land of ice fields. They would catch a boat back south towards the land of iron, where there were more samurai than ninja. They would avoid angering the die-hard samurai, but would meet a young Onimusha who was interested in the shinobi arts and inspired her. The group would leave the country of samurai and enter the land of earth, but would continue west towards the land of volcanoes. They would actually get to see a volcanic eruption from a distance, before eventually deciding to settle in the land of earth for a little while to further hone their skills. Land of Earth 1 year later town of Omos. Naruto silently counts off his one-handed handstand push-ups on the balcony of their home in the town of. It's been a year since the group came to the land of Earth, settling in as a good place to do their bounty work. They traveled a few days from Iwagakure no Sado and did some work for the Tsuchikage. I wonder how the fence-sitter will react if he finds out you're Kairoi Senko's son, Buldora comments, and Naruto snorts. He leans down to stand up with a stretch and goes back inside to look over himself. He is now 15 and stands at nearly 5'9" with a decent body, having a few scars, but the main one is from Zar. He decided to further add to the memory of Zar by adding a tattoo around the claw marks with a pair of eyes staring out of the shadows of the claws. He grabs a shirt and slips it only to head into the living room. Conan is sitting in a chair and reading a book in casual clothes. Kaguya is on the sofa watching their movie in a belly shirt and shorts, showing off the patch of white hair above her butt. Think Kushina and Rebecca will screw up their job, Naruto says. If Rebecca can keep Kushina's temper on the bad guys it should be fine, Conan says and looks at Naruto, revealing her elaborate piercing. Are we still aiding the Tsuchikage's granddaughter, Conan adds. Naruto pours himself a glass of orange juice, the pay is good and the missing nin is chunin level, I can handle it alone he says. You know both say, and Naruto nods with a face, causing both to giggle. He makes his way to his room to get dressed, but also to pen a letter to one of the good ones who helped him in his early years and congratulating her on her 100th birthday. She'll probably cane you for that, Buldora chuckles and Naruto snorts. He puts on his Kingsglaive uniform, but it is now a dark blue and black variant with a dark undershirt, adding a half-cloth mask under his mask. He heads back into the living room and kisses the girls goodbye. So when are you going to do the deed with them? Buldora asks as Naruto leaves their place. When we're recognized as legal adults, that is something Kushina and the others decided on. Handjobs don't count though, Naruto thought, dropping his letter at the postal drop and making his way out of town. So what is the game plan for next year? Are we staying in the land of Earth or moving again? Buldora asks. Naruto whispers his incantation and brings out his bike. We'll stay a few more months here and travel south to the land of wind, get our names out there, and then head back to Uzushio once I'm 16, then we can enjoy some downtime before I head to Konoha, he thought, climbing on his bike and starting up. Omos is located in a valley bowl and the main source of income being several mines and iron workers. The land of Earth is mostly mountain ranges and the main income coming from mine work, but also a strange phenomenon called rock rain. Naruto makes the journey to meet Inoki Kamizuru's granddaughter Kuretsuchi about halfway between. Why can't his granddaughter do this on her own? Isn't she a chunin? Buldora says. Naruto adjusts his goggles as dust is whipped up from his bike. I've just added backup, but he's probably testing us too, he thought. 2 days later, Naruto is sitting across from me in a small open restaurant, so our target is a man called the Mountain, she says. Kuretsuchi has short black hair and distinctly pink eyes accentuated by her eyelashes running upwards at the corners. She wears the standard attire consisting of a red uniform with her right sleeve missing and a lapel over her right leg. A brown flak jacket, fishnet tights and a skirt over them, regular shinobi sandals with a pair of gloves. Meaning he's a mountain of muscle, Naruto says. Pretty much, but Tur has a sick personality. Gramps wants him dead for the murder of his girlfriend and her children, Kuretsuchi says. Naruto takes a sip of his soda and thought at the barbarism of, I can see why, he says, and looks through the menu. Do you know if he's in this town, he adds. Yes, our Anbu tracked him here. In fact, Kuretsuchi says, moving her eyes right. Naruto picks up the metal napkin tray to look in the reflection, seeing a very tall man with short brown hair and a crew cut, wearing a large sweater and eating several steaks. And here I thought this was a date, Naruto says, but scoffs. You're here as a backup part, now let's go, Kuretsuchi says, getting up from her seat. She's definitely brash, Buldora says, as Naruto gets up. By order of the Sandaime Tsuchikage, you are to be brought back to Iwa to stand trial. If you resist, lethal force is allowed, Kuretsuchi declares, shocking many of the patrons. Tur drives his fork into his steak and shoves the whole thing into his mouth with his dark eyes on Kuretsuchi, but also the approaching Naruto. So Inoki sends his granddaughter after me, Tur says, after swallowing his steak. What you did can't be overlooked, Kuretsuchi says. Tur keeps his dark eyes on Kuretsuchi's vibrant eyes, but chuckles and wipes his chin. Alright, let's do what you can do, he says, slowly rising from his seat, and Naruto's eyes widen under his hood, as if pushing 7 feet in height. Follow me, I don't shit where I eat, says, tossing some money on his table. Kuretsuchi and Naruto follow Tur out of the restaurant as they make their way outside of town. So who did you bring, Kuretsuchi Haim? Tur says, walking them off the main road. Vortex Heart, Naruto says, and tries to whistle. I've heard of Save the Daimyo of Snow or Spring Country. I even made a movie with her saying, look around for a good place to bury them. Naruto glanced at Kuretsuchi and could tell she was getting impatient. This is far enough. She shouts. Music. Baki asked Confrontation. Tur comes to a halt with his back to them and slowly turns to them before slowly reaching for the hem of his shirt and slipping it off to reveal his chiseled upper body. Naruto slowly removes his hood to show off his mask as Kuretsuchi is about to rush forward, but Tur makes the first move by rocketing forward with a heavy and twisting left straight. Naruto and Kuretsuchi dodge, but the blonde could feel the power behind Tur's punch before connecting with his own to Tur's left temple and bringing him down to one knee. Beautiful, Tur says, springing to his feet to rush Naruto with a 6-piece combo, and the blonde dodging with a few counters mixed in. Oten. Dirixum shouts after weaving signs to birds and slamming her hands into the ground. Tur dodges the earthen spikes as Naruto dodges the same and weaves his own signs to ram, Raiten. Reikiki says, forcing to dodge the lightning orbs. Tur changes tactics to rush with a low spear and grabs her with a wide grin. South, he roars, flinging her around and sending her crashing to the ground with several hops. Naruto spears, but the large man only skids a few inches and he raises his arms to slam several strikes to Naruto's back. The blonde channels chakra through his body to lift off his feet into a punishing spinebuster before springing to his feet and hitting a twisting leg drop to Tur's throat. Kuretsuchi staggers to her feet but still sees a few stars but shakes them away as Naruto dodges a front kick. Bastard hisses and weaves signs to the snake before the sun shines behind Naruto with an inhale. Imton. Sakejum no jutsu, Kuretsuchi thought, spewing quicklime to cover Tri's chest and one of his arms as Naruto narrowly dodges. Tur roars and covers his free left arm with rock to swing it at Kuretsuchi, but Naruto with her, blocking the enlarged arm with a skid. Naruto cocks his left fist as it sparks with lightning, Raiten. Sankme, he shouts, connecting with a left straight to Tur's chin and dropping him to his knees. Move hard, Kuretsuchi says, weaving signs to Rat and inhaling to spew a thick black ash substance to cover Tur's body to his chin. What is that? Naruto says. It's called Imton. Keisakif no jutsu, Kuretsuchi says, before making a blade of rock to cut off Tur's head. Your money will be sent to your usual account, Kuretsuchi says, vanishing with a shunshin. She left you to clean up the mess, plus you'll have to go back to that restaurant and pay the bill, Vildora says, and Naruto sweet drops, using abolishing flame on the remains of Tur's body and heading back to town. Song ends. Naruto and company would stay for another 3 months before packing their things and heading south towards the land of wind. Iwagakure would also put them in the bingo book as C-rank threats as a way to keep those outside of Iowa and Earth Country from knowing they hired them. The royals would register as bounty hunters in the Wind Country's capital and avoid for the most part. Naruto would enhance his Pton affinity by learning a few from the black market along with buying weapons to bolster his armature collection. They would spend about a year in Wind Country and smaller countries connected to their western coast. It would further teach them to survive in less than ideal conditions. They even work normal jobs while they are on the coast. Naruto and Kushina worked on a fishing boat and Rebecca worked as tour guide and hunter on said tours for the more dangerous wildlife. Conan worked as a cook in a fancy restaurant and Kaguya worked in a pet shop but also as a small-time model. Naruto's 16th birthday would come and it was a small affair, but it spelled time for them to return and also for Naruto to prepare for. However, on the train ride back they would meet someone who would become a powerful ally for them, but especially for Naruto. Land of Fire Hono Railway. Ieyasu Hien glares in contempt at his captors, but as of now he knows who in his family's court betrayed them. He is a man in his late 20s with strawberry blonde hair cut low and slicked back, golden eyes, defined cheekbones, slender straight nose, and pronounced tear troughs. He was wearing casual clothes of blue jeans, a long-sleeved shirt, and a hip-length coat. What most didn't know is that Ieyasu is the heir apparent to the throne of the Fire Country. His grandfather is looking to retire and looking for someone to be his heir. The pool is limited to himself, his cousin Cersei are her children, and his uncle Ieyasu. His own parents died when he was young and Cersei's parents weren't ambitious enough. He was raised and trained with the ninja monks, but also the 12 ninja guardians, learning much about his country and the others around them. Seems my plan has worked. I told Cersei one place I would be heading, Uncle Ieyasu another, and grandfather another, Ieyasu thought. The leader of Ieyasu's captors approaches with a smirk on his face. I wonder how much your grandfather will pay to save you, he sneers. He is a tall tan-skinned man with beady eyes and black hair tied into a topknot, wearing all black with a sword on his hip. Bastard, whoever hired you will pay for this, Ieyasu says. The man and his fellow captors laugh. Wouldn't you like to know? Though shouldn't you be more concerned with these passengers, heir apparent of the throne of fire country, he says. Ieyasu glances at the people huddled up behind him, looking frightened, and the leader's men holding swords on them. Spare them, Ieyasu says, and the captors laugh loudly as the leader pulls out a knife and runs it along Ieyasu's face. Jimbala, there's someone here, one of the captors says. Jimbala halts his knife and looks to where one of his people is pointing to see someone sitting on the bench with their legs crossed and their upper body hidden by a partition near the door. How could you miss someone? Jimbala shouts. This must be my lucky day. I get to meet the heir of the throne of fire, but I get to have a debt for saving him, the figure says. The captor that saw the figure approaches with a large knife in his hand, but jerks as the figure is holding a pistol. Gem, he says, before his head snaps back with a smoking hole. The figure rises to their feet and is wearing a black-white dress uniform jacket with the upper body featuring a hood and a beak tip. The coat features silver lining along the torso, with the lower half of the coat forming two tails. Black pants with king's glove boots, a long-sleeved skull, and chains graphic Henley, lastly a mask with a heart cut by a vortex over the right eye. Who the fuck are you? Jimbala says. The figure shifts their hidden eyes towards Ieyasu. My name is Vortex Heart, the figure says, revealing their gender and weaving signs to birds. Music. Dark Souls 3 Herem the Giant, and this is Majin. Hunter's Moon Heart says. Jimbala and his men, but also Ieyasu gasp as the outside turns dark with a red moon seemingly right next to the moving train. Jinjutsu, Jimbala shouts, trying to break it, but fails. You might want to close your eyes, your highness, Heart says, and Ieyasu does, as he is told. Jimbala and his men draw their weapons, but suddenly no longer find themselves on the train. Instead they are on the streets of a decrepit town, as if people were lining the streets and cursing someone. Where are we? One says. It's Jinjutsu. We just need to break it. Jimbala hisses, but his breath hitches as he sees someone on broken knees being dragged by heavy and rusted chains. The group could hear the crows laughing as people mock and jeer the broken man being led like a dog through the streets. So here is the broken king dragged through the streets on broken knees and a broken body, a voice says, but the Jimbala recognizes it as the Heart. Strangled noises echo and Jimbala looks to see a few of his men being dragged into the sea of people, becoming part of the cursing rabble to jeer the broken king. Others were slitting their own throats to escape the mocking crows, and they too were joining the masses as well. "Come out, coward," Jimbala shouts. The scene shifts to a lone tree on a hill and the broken king hanging from a tree like a common criminal as the people cheer his death. Jimbala, former Jonin of Sunagakure, Heart echoes around him. Jimbala clutches his sword as wind coats the blade. Ton. K's no Yeba, he roars, swinging his sword, but hits nothing as the people seem unaffected by his attacks. The king hanging from the tree with a heavy chain laughs an almost croaking laugh, causing those around him to flee in terror. Jimbala stares at the hanged king with rage as now he was alone at the hill, all of his men gone, as crows now join the croaking laughter of the hanged king. Enough of this Jinjutsu and fight me like a man, Jimbala shouts. Shinobi are deceptive samurai who fight man to man. Jimbala grits his teeth in anger, but now finds himself in a dungeon and the hanged king sitting on a throne of sharp rusted spikes. He starts to feel ill as he looks upon the face of the hanged king, or lack of face, as it appears to be a god-shaped hole. Blood starts to run from his nose, eyes, ears, as his body seems to be dragged down by rusted chains. A rotted lion circles around a Jimbala with carvings on its visible bones. The dead even dance around him as a jester holds his own head with a cracked mask in hands as all of them dance. All hail the hanged king, the mocking visages cry as Jimbala screams while the deceased lion roars. Song ends. Ieyasu opens his eyes to find a Jimbala laying not far from him with his hands clutching his chest and foaming coming from his mouth. He feels his hands being freed and he looks up to see the Vortex Heart. "You're safe now, your highness," Heart says, helping him to his feet. Ieyasu looks to see if the other hostages were safe as 4 others were checking on them, wearing masks with the symbols for ace, club, spade, and diamond. "Thank you for your aid, Vortex Heart, but I would like to see your face and know your true name," Ieyasu says. Heart sighs and removes his hood to reveal messy lightish blonde hair with eyebrow-length bangs. Asking for a person in a mask who they are is a little taboo, but you are royalty, he says, removing his mask to reveal azure blue eyes and handsome face. My name is Naruto Nox Fluid, but at one time known as Naruto Namika's heart says, and Ieyasu furrows his brow. Ieyasu says, as Naruto leads him to another car as the others take care of things and escape. Exactly the husband of your cousin Cersei. I am the son he pushed aside for her daughters, Naruto says. Ieyasu takes a seat on the bench as Naruto remains standing. I learned from one of the ninja guardians that Minato sent his son to train with his mother's family. Well, you are half right. Minato sent me away with my uncle, but not to train, as he claims he did it to appease his wife, who has the ear of your grandfather, Naruto says. Cersei and Minato's marriage is a political one, as Minato wanted to maintain his position as Hokage, Ieyasu says. Yes, I am his bastard, and he put the village and his power before his son, but wants me to return to become a genin under his command, Naruto says. Then why return? I've heard of Vortex Heart and your exploits, Ieyasu says. Naruto takes a seat next to Ieyasu and crosses his legs. I'm going back to gain the inheritance my mother left behind, but I suspect Minato will make me jump through hoops to get it, Naruto says. Then perhaps I can help. I do owe you my life after all, Ieyasu says, and Naruto tilts his head with your right expression. I wish to test the new generation of Konoha's ninja force, perhaps you can help with this, Ieyasu adds. I'm not due back until spring, Naruto says. That is fine. It will give me time to prepare things and send them to Minato, Ieyasu. Naruto uncrosses his legs and rises to his full height. If you need to send me anything, send it to Lady Asakura and Yuzushio, he says. Another blunder on my grandfather and Konoha's side. I will help you, Naruto Nox Fluid, Ieyasu says, and extends his hand. And I hope you help me, Prince Ieyasu Hien, Naruto says, each shaking hands. Naruto excuses himself and walks towards the hatch on the top. Oh, make sure to spread the fame of the Vortex Royals, he says, slipping on his mask and bringing out a bow staff with his armature. He pops up the hatch with his staff and leaps to grab the edge and lifts himself out of the train car as the wind whips around him. He runs along the train cars towards the end and leaps off towards the forest to stick to a tree. Think he will help, Buldoris says. Naruto leaps through the trees to meet the others in thought, one can only hope, he thought. About 20 minutes of tree hopping, Naruto finds the others waiting in a small clearing. Took you long enough, Kushina says. The 17-year-old wears gothic steampunk trouser pants with a high waist and buttons from the knee down to high-heel ankle boots, a short-sleeved dress shirt and a black tie and a coat similar to Rebecca, along with suspenders hanging from her waist. Was it really the Prince of Fire Country? Rebecca says. The 18-year-old wears a double-breasted wide overcoat with grey lapels and a collar of black fur. Underneath she has a thin full bodysuit with black short shorts, a black bustier top and her king's glove boots. It must have been a coincidence, Conan says. The 16-year-old wears a white hakama having black trim with calf-length boots that button up the sides and a small heel. A white and black jacket that has a high collar and shows off her midriff but also 4 piercings around her belly button and unzips from the bottom to the top. The jacket also has gold air filters on either side just below the trim, with sleeves terminating in black glove-like extensions, resembling a cat's paw. At least we were able to save everyone, Kaguya adds. The 17-year-old wears a black and silver trench coat having lace trim, a white blouse, and high-waist shorts to her mid-thigh, having garter straps to thigh-high black stockings, and calf-length boots that button up the sides, and a small heel like a. Yeah, it was if that missing nin didn't blurt it out I wouldn't have known, but this has provided us a boon. He asked me to help with something in Konoha, and it will help me with my sperm donor, Naruto says, removing his mask and explaining things. It will be a great help to you, Conan says. Anyway, let's head to Yuzushio for some downtime, Naruto says, and all of them nod as they vanish with Shunshin. The royals would find the main road and bring out their regalia to make their way to land of Yuzushio, Sister Karen says, hugging Kushina. The Redeed hugs her little sister tightly as Asakura smiles softly and looks over at the others. You've all grown again, Asakura says. We saw your movie, Tsunade says, smirking and hugging Naruto. Did that really happen? Arya adds. Naruto picks her up as the group make their way inside and to the living room. Maybe, he says. So Spill, we've been hearing about the Vortex Royal, says as goes get some snacks for Arya and Karen. Naruto starts explaining about their trip but leaves out the incident in Hot Water Country, meeting the Raikage and explaining things about meeting bees. So you got your butt handed to you by A's brother, says, smirking slightly, and Naruto looks away. Kushina continues about meeting and also becoming good friends with the latter. So your harem is growing, Asakura says, and Naruto blushes but coughs to continue explaining how they did work for A as a test, but he went to Turtle Island and confronted his younger self at the Waterfall of Truth, learning to control Voldora's chakra. He and Samui head to the land of bears, but also their strange encounter in the land of rice paddies. I've heard that the land of rices of paddies is now called the land of the sound, with the village of Tagakura no Sato Sakura. It was odd they wouldn't say who their master is though, Naruto says, and continues on about the incident, aiding in saving her home. Then leaving and lightning to head further north, meeting and helping her in saving her home from her uncle, but also bringing spring to the cold country. So the ending was true, as you didn't show until the end says. Almost we met Koyuki during a snowstorm at an inn. We agreed to help and that led to us being in the movie thanks to the director, Kushina explains. It was very fun, Kaguya adds. Naruto then removes shirt to show his scar tattoo of the Tsar and explains about their time in the land of frostbite. Did it hurt? Karen asks, and Naruto nods. I managed to use a heal spell, but I kept the scars to remind me of the Tsar and keep his memory alive, Naruto says. You were really lucky to have Kaiser with you. Asakura says, and Naruto slowly nods. Rebecca starts explaining about the super pack in the land wolves and how she beat him in hunting some of the pack, then explaining their trip through the land of iron towards the land of volcanoes. You got to see an actual eruption from a volcano, Shizune says. It was really amazing. I took some pictures, Kaguya says, going to find the pictures from her bag. Did you encounter any members of Akatsuki? Asakura asks, but Naruto shakes his head. I know I would use them for a little while when we did some work for Iwa, but we never came face to face, Naruto explains. Kaguya shows her pictures to Arya and Karen and both light up at the sight of them as Naruto explains their time in the land of wind but also saving the Prince of Fire country. Now that is interesting. If he's genuine he could very well help you, Asakura says. He's one of the better ones of his family. His parents were good people. Asakura glances at her daughters but then says to Shizune, can you take the girls to play while the grown-ups talk? Asakura says. Oh, I'm a big girl, Karen says, and Arya nods, but Naruto ruffles their hair. Maybe, but not big enough, Naruto says, and the girls follow. So have you decided to go alone to Konoha or take the girls? Asakura says. Kushina said she wants to be a ninja to use Ushio, Naruto says. I owe it to dad, Kushina says. I would rather not go either. I'm not really a ninja, Rebecca says. I'll go with you. I want to know more about my father's clan, Kaguya says. I'll go with you too. One of us needs to keep you from doing something stupid, Conan says, and the others snort. One time, Naruto says. Land of honey, all of them say, and Asakura starts laughing. Naruto and company would enjoy a few months of downtime to heal their bodies and celebrate Kushina becoming with Rebecca becoming her partner in a two-person cell. Naruto would receive a letter from Ieyasu in January, giving him the means to go to and not be dragged into his father's games. March would soon come too soon for Naruto, but Kushina, Rebecca, Asakura, Karen, Arya, and assured him that they had his back. Music. Celdweller, the wings of Icarus. Naruto raises his hands and whispers an incantation as Ravus's Barracuda rises from the array. He remembers the white regalia with black trim and a white interior as well. It's been a long time since, Naruto whispers, running fingers along crossed swords emblems on the hood. The blonde is wearing casual clothes of jeans with a white henley having black sleeves. We'll see you at the Chunin exams, Kushina says, holding out her arms, and Naruto slowly hugs his redeed. We'll be doing the deed then too, Rebecca says, blushing slightly, and hugs her blonde. We'll probably see Samui too, Kaguya says, doing Jenkin for the front seat. True, she did pass with her friends Kari and Amoy, Naruto says, waving to Arya and Karen. Conan hops into the backseat as Kaguya gets the front seat and Naruto climbs into the driver's seat, pulling down the visor and the keys falling into his hands. The regalia rumbles to life and Naruto smiles as a few tears form in his eyes but glances to see Arya likes the sound as well as he did. It'll be hers someday, Naruto thought. Contact us once you get settled, Kushina says, and all three nod. Naruto puts the car in gear and rides off with waves from the others. Are you really ready for this? Conan asks. I have to confront my past to prepare for my future, Naruto says, riding through towards the Great Whirlpool Bridge. He remembers coming for the first time with and the second time with Kushina and the others. The smell of the sea hits their noses as they travel across the bridge, stopping a few times to rest and Kaguya getting more pictures of the sea. They reach the other side and pass through the city of Nami where a vortex heart was born and the country saved. They soon leave the city and pass old sights but soon reach a familiar spot for the blonde as he pulls off the highway and comes to a halt. Why are we stopping? Conan says, seeing a few wagons heading down the wide path. This is where my journey started with Uncle Ravus and now I'm heading back to that place, Naruto says. Conan and Kaguya place a hand on his shoulder. You aren't going back alone. Your dad made the biggest mistake when it concerns you. Now you can show him how big it really was, Conan says. Naruto sniffles a little and nods slowly as they head down the path as the vortex hunter. Thanks for watching my video, leave a like if you enjoyed my video, and also do consider subscribing to my channel for more awesome content. See you next time, till then sayonara.